Stephen Scott from the Courier Mail, Mr. Palmer. I'd like to take you back to that court case as well, if I could. How do you, if you say that you're entitled...
I can't take any questions on that because it's before the court, so I'm not going to answer your question.
Well, I'm going to ask you anyway.
Why don't you just ask a question about the topic? Have some guts to Rupert. Just don't do what he tells you from New York. Try to do something. Stand up and be a journalist for a change. You know, don't read off that. Think of your own brain and think of a question of some of the issues I've spoken about.
Okay, you've filibustered for quite some time now, so perhaps we can
I'm
have
not
some
filibustering.
questions.
Well, stop reading your question that Chris Mitchell's given you.
You are entitled to spend the $12 million of that dispute as you like.
Well, that's not true. It's just untrue.
You weren't entitled to spend it as you like.
It's just completely untrue, everything you're saying. Now, we all know that all those papers are controlled by Rupert Murdoch. Your paper's owned by his personal family. You get directions from the editor. Rupert Murdoch gets on Skype in New York. He's given up his Australian citizen to become American. So you're thinking that a foreign citizen of another country should control how Australians think. I think that's wrong. We know Rupert Murdoch, the cartoons that your paper runs, are a national disgrace to journalism. We've seen that editors be dismissed of the Courier Mail. It was dismissed before the last election because he wouldn't do what Rupert says. So why don't you try to be an independent journalist and think for a while? I know your whole career is depending on it, but you should try to think. We've seen all these journalists, all employed by Rupert, asking the same question. Now go on and ask your question.
Now if I can get to my question. If you're entitled to spend the $12 million in dispute as you like... No, can I get my question out, please?
Well, you want to get a promotion from Rupert.
Mr Palmer, could he
This is ridiculous.
No, I'm not going to let him get his question out. I'm not going to take that rubbish from you, mate. That's just not true what you're saying. Okay, so if you want to ask me a question about politics, go ahead. If you don't want to, forget about it.
Why did you...
Why are you asking the same question? You're just taking up television time. Well, I'm just saying, I'm here to talk about a particular topic. I'm prepared to take questions on
And we're here to ask you questions, Mr Palmer.
I'm not prepared to take a question other on that topic. You haven't got the guts to ask a question on the topic because it's beyond your intellectual capacity. Why don't you admit it? You know?
I'll get the question out.
Well, come on.
I'll get the question out. If you refuse to answer it, that's up to you.
No, I'm just not going to just keep talking while you get the question out. That's all I'll do.
If you're entitled to spend the $12 million
that's the sort of question
as you like...
your friends ask the question, your mates ask the question, and that's just not true what you're saying.
Why did you create and backdate the Port Management Services Agreement?
It's just not true. It's just not true what you're saying. Absolutely not true. So it's just not true. Sorry, it's not true.
Stephen, I think you tried.
I think it's a waste of all our time.
It's not true, we're saying.